Have you been feeling uncomfortable? I mean, well, recently, probably in the last several years, or maybe you've been uncomfortable throughout most of your life. And I will tell you, every time that you felt uncomfortable, it was because you were unwilling to take the next step on your evolutionary journey to find out who you are, so that you could become empowered, so that you could become enlightened, and so that you could ascend. That is what we all do as we live our lives. But you would probably be a little more uncomfortable now because as we individually move through our ascension process as we live, meaning understanding who we are, developing the sense of purpose and all of that. Well, we happen to be at a time where the entire world is doing that. So we understand that we are all energy. And so when we feel the craziness that's going on around us, it can cause us to be really, really uncomfortable. But again, when we're doing that, it's because we're resisting something within us. I know because that's what I've done. I've resisted because what I've done didn't make sense. And I will say that for most people, we will see something in front of us and think, maybe I can do that, but then we don't believe it. And then we won't move forward. And that is where we feel uncomfortable because we're unlimited beings. And so if we're to use the gifts that we have and keep developing them, we would not feel uncomfortable because we would be doing what we came to the world to do, because that's individual for every person. I'm going to tell you a little story because I just booked my flight, just got booked to go to Gaia to film a episode with George Nuri, Beyond Belief. And I thought that's a perfect place for me to be. So they just booked my flight, and I'm going to be doing that at the beginning of June, because I will be telling the full story because it is kind of beyond belief. But I wanted you to understand it today. We evolve in our consciousness. And we can think about, how things happen in our universe that we don't fully understand. We don't understand within us. When I began receiving my Wilhelm in 1988, I didn't know where it was going to take me. And for the most time, I never told anyone, you see, because it didn't make sense. What is happening to me? And then when I started doing live channeling in 2021, I wasn't going to do that either. But I knew that it was important for me to do it because we're moving through this mass ascension. I have been on an ascension journey like no other for all of my life. I'm 73 now, and so I'm supposed to give stuff to others. That's what we all do. And the way I received information was it was precognitive. They gave me all the information before it actually shows up in the world. And my Wilhelm said, if you do this work, you will heal yourself. That made no sense until it happened. And from someone who has gone through and moved through everything, that was the part that was beyond belief. But I'm telling you, you can do it. When you understand who you are, when you move through your blockages, your limitations, your fears, your doubts, that's the process. That's the entire process that I've done. But then what became really apparent, Wilhelm said, they gave me things on specific dates so that we would understand what was occurring in our world because it's a little frightening what's going to happen. I know that it'll be great if more of us decide to let go of being uncomfortable and become comfortable in our new selves. That's really what it's supposed to be. But this is the message that I received on this date 4 years ago. My Wilhelm likes using specific dates to impress upon us that we evolve over time, meaning that we don't do it all at once. We need time to understand things and learn. That's us as individuals, but it's also our society as a whole. And if you listen to my last channeling session, you will hear all of this information. But I thought this one was a good one for today. The reason you are uncomfortable. Now, we know many of you at this time will claim the reason you are uncomfortable is due to the current conditions of your world, of your life, but it is far more than that. It was emotionally painful for Roger to allow these words to come through as he was doing what most of you do, and that is to attempt to operate in a state of blindness and denial. Roger knew we wanted him to view our previous messages stating that nothing is ever hidden from you because it isn't, and he resisted doing so. You do play games with yourselves and pretend you do not see what is before you to change, to have the life you want. When you give up blaming others or any condition for you being uncomfortable, you will regain your innate power. Yesterday, Roger was watching video training and found himself incredibly uncomfortable and didn't know why. Then we led him to another video, and the answer became clear. Roger could see what was available for him in his life, recognize the value it might be for him and others, and simultaneously saw his resistance to making the changes that would allow it to manifest. Roger thought he was made uncomfortable by the presenters he viewed, but it was his acknowledgement he could do the same and wasn't. We have spoken of this before while discussing issues of jealousy. The main reason you are uncomfortable is you are unwilling to recognize and own your power. Even this pandemic causes you to see this, and only you can change it. And if you remember in 2020, that is when we were really all going through the pandemic, and everyone was focused on that and thought all the changes were happening in the world because of that. And I knew that it wasn't, but it was really challenging to tell everyone that because people wouldn't believe it. And even when I talked about my work, people won't believe what you can accomplish. And I'm saying you can accomplish anything. And so when I'm going to do this show, I'm going to tell the full story because I have to get human consciousness to understand what is available. You can live a great life. We can create a much better world. We can all move through our old stuff and we can ascend to the highest states of who we can become. And that is the work that I've been given for more than 35 years. And I'm going to leave it with everyone so that we can ascend to our highest states of being. Check out all of my work because it will be changing, as I've said, but it's there's still some of it available. But I want you to also listen to, because we need this sense of belief, listen to the testimonials of people who have done it. Now, it's only a portion of my work in there. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm putting so much more in. Anybody who does this work, their lives will be transformed forever. That's my goal. All right, you guys, see you soon.